Welcome to this week's Blonde Intelligence, formerly Indie Artist Music Hustle with Blonde Intelligence. I am your host, Miss Roni, where I always seek to give you exquisite cranial repertoire. This week, I have been listening to um, different people takes on UMG being granted the dismissal. So people were talking about Drake not taking the L and all of this, but I was just sitting there thinking and listening to some. I think it was Rapaholics. I listened to Jay Nolan, a couple other people. And what I got out of this is I don't have the statements in front of me, but UMG basically came out and made a statement saying, let's back up. People were going over the court notes. I think it was 38 pages of what, I can't remember what it's called, but when the judge gives their decision and the reason why. And I think the judge was very correct, and you have to take everything into context. And I think it was Hot 97, or I can't remember which one it was that I was listening to, but they made a good point. He did a defamation suit saying that they promoted, that UMG and others promoted um, defamatory things about him that were in Not Like Us, I would say. And I was listening to, I want to say it was Power 97 or Hot 97. I don't want to put it on somebody that wasn't, but made the comment that made a lot of sense to me, that the lyric says, say Drake, I hear you like 'em young. He didn't say, hey Drake, it's for a fact, or hey Drake, you like 'em young. He said, hey Drake, I hear you like 'em young, which makes it hearsay. And I think the certified lover boy certified, that was the part where if you do that, then that's what you are. And you better not ever have to go to jail for it, because if you do, this is what's going to happen. But that's what I heard. That's what they say. So basically, you took somebody to court over in a song after you talked about them too, in your own voice, in other people's voice, in different accents. You done diss the person that many different ways, and he said, hey, this is what I hear. Now, Kendrick is very intelligent, and I'm sure that before he felt like he was gonna drop that and ready for you, that he had already consulted with a lawyer. And then the thing about it is, Drake, up until the announcement of the dismissal, had been on different social media sites, had been on different streaming platforms, and liking posts that people would say in defense of him. And Kendrick never made a post, never said anything, nothing. So you did all this suing and all this talking, and then after the dismissal, UMG came out and made a statement basically saying, because like I said earlier, I don't have it in front of me, but basically saying, now that this is over, we're ready to get back to work. And if Drake produces a hit, then we're going to promote it because he's still under contract. So it's like you're going to have to go to work being the disgruntled employee. And people talking about taking L's. L's don't always have to be losses. It can be lessons. And he needs to learn a lesson from this. And I think of the saying, if you can't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen. And maybe rap is no longer for you since, I don't know, you don't understand the culture, they say. But then I was thinking about the whole cash money, young money thing. And I don't know about everybody else. I think that Drake and Nicki kind of like overshadowed the legacy of cash money. And I want to remind people, cash money taking over for the 99 and the 2000s. And they did. And it was not Nicki or Drake. It was Juvenile. And you have cash money, not an army, it's a navy. You got BG. My favorite song from Cash Money is High Beamin'. So I'm not understanding, and I do know that Lil Wayne branched off and had Young Money. So I think that when people talk about the legacy and what Drake is doing to the legacy and what Nicki is doing to the legacy and what's happening to Lil Wayne, Cash Money is Cash Money. Okay? A lot of great artists on Cash Money. A lot of great songs came out of Cash Money that did not involve Drake or Nicki. So I think that people need not get the two mixed up because Cash Money legacy is fine in my eyes. And that's the South, the Louisiana area. And I used to date a guy from Louisiana, and he used to tell me he was from, I was taught in school to say New Orleans. He was like, "You saying it wrong." And I was like, "How am I supposed to say it?" He said, "It's New Orleans." So I stand corrected. So if you knew from the beginning to say New Orleans and you from down in that area, then your legacy is fine. You don't have anything to prove to anybody. And I would say Nicki and Drake used to be part of Young Money because that's how really I even knew that Wayne had started another label when he said when Nicki, whenever she would get on a song, she'd be like, "Young Money," and I'd be like, "Okay." So it was like an acceptance because Louisiana was accepting you. And I haven't heard much being said between Cash Money per se and Young Money. And I do wonder, how do the members or people who were signed to Cash Money feel about how things are playing out now, especially with people talking about legacy and things like that. And I remember when, I want to say it was BG got out and they had like this big concert after, it was after like the Super Bowl stuff and everything, if I didn't get that wrong. And people were saying, well, Drake and Nicki didn't come support that, but have so much to say about the Super Bowl. And that's what people say. So I'm going to leave that there on that's what people say. But I just think that, oh, so let me get back to after UMG made their statement. So after UMG made their statement, then Drake made a statement that he was looking forward to the case being reviewed by appeals. So it's things like that that make people get the legacy of Cash Money and Young Money in the mix of the Kool-Aid like that. And no one that I am aware of that was signed to Cash Money sued another artist, took them to court, was in a beef, and just done things too, and then go cry. You hit somebody, and now you're running to daddy and saying, he hit me. You hit him first. And then when your daddy say, "Hey, y'all act good because both of y'all hit each other and you actually hit first," then I'm gonna call CPS on you. I don't want to live here anymore. It's to me equivalent to that. And I know that things may have went a little out of order on here, but like I said, I was just thinking. I didn't write down the agenda, and I was actually going to talk about something else, but I was thinking about it. This is what happened with the lawsuit. That's fine. That's what should have happened with the lawsuit. But then just thinking about people talking about how the legacy of Cash Money, Young Money, I do think that, you know, this may sound crazy, that, when people have children, they have traits of both parents. And so we know the daddy is Cash Money. Cash Money had a baby. It was called Young Money. And when that offspring came out, part of that offspring was someone else's. So I'm going to say that those two artists of Young Money is not acting like the offspring of Cash Money. And I do understand that Wayne want to do other things with his music, and he did the rock thing. I like rock music, but if your audience is expecting rap music, you need to introduce them in some kind of way to your form of rap and what you want to move into with rock to your audience. So let's just say, for instance, he had, and I think he did this and got a lot of criticism on it. Work with someone who is skilled in making a rap song a rock song. Call up, what is this? Walk This Way, Talk This Way. That was Aerosmith and Run DMC. They're still around. Talk to them. Talk to the people who work with them. But it has to be executed well on your end for people to take in your artist in that genre. And I'm going to shut my mouth because I did all the little partying that I could do for the UAPB homecoming. I'm UAPB alumni. Yes, graduated from a historically black university. So we had homecoming this week, and I heard the helicopters and I heard the sirens, but I haven't heard anything bad as of yet. So I think that it was a W, it was a win. We've been having a lot of wins lately in Pine Bluff. Um, I'm sure that the Bootsy concert was great. I heard Charleston White was here. I don't know why in the parade, but Pine Bluff is doing some good things, even though it's some bad apples. I would say the bushel is good. But anyway, that's all I got for you. You can find Blonde Intelligence. Even if you look under Indie Artist Music Hustle, some things under there. But there on Spotify, on Apple, on Pandora, on iHeart, on Podchaser, on all those places. You can type me in on Google and I'm there. And you can always catch me. I post some stuff on social media. I don't try to do social media too much anymore because I feel like people put stock in social media, and then if a hater violates you, then they can say, you had hateful speech, you had this, you're not this, blah, 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 and wipe out all of your marketing to promote yourself. So I don't put too much stock in that. No, word of mouth is always good. Um, Somebody is listening. But I don't like the social media thing. That's a whole nother subject because I feel like they need to have accountability too. And you need to be able to have a 1-800 number that you can call or a customer service. I never seen that you can have millions of people on your platform and there's nothing making you have to be accountable to appeals process. They may or may not accept your appeal. I mean, it's just to me a bunch of BS, especially with Facebook. And yes, I did say that because you call this person, they can help. Or call this person. There's no designated place for you to contact that you will get an answer. So people get mad at customer service. But if you have a company and you can call customer service or a phone number that somebody will answer, that would be great. You know, AI is getting really good. You can have a whole call center of AI, and they can look at the cut and dry situation and at least give it a reason. But I think there needs to be more accountability than that. But I'm like I said, that's a whole nother topic. And you can catch me on my website, get merch, order things, um, all the episodes of every season that I have done on www.blonde. Some people call it a hyphen. Some people call it a dash. BLONDE dash intelligence.com. And I'll see you next week. Bye.
Hey girl, let me tell you about this podcast.
Girl, everybody has a podcast these days.
But this one interviews new and interesting indie artists. It's called Indie Artist Music Hustle with Blonde Intelligence.
Really? Where can I find it?
It's on all podcasting platforms, streams live on social media, and on rpentradio.com.
What'd you say it was called again?
It's called Indie Artist Music Hustle with Blonde Intelligence.
Girl, I'm gonna have to check her out.
Give it a check, girl.